Well, it is 8:30. We'll call the meeting of the Mitchell County Board of Supervisors to order. We have an agenda before us. I'll ask if there's any changes or corrections or deletions. If not, I'll...
The Valent project is, Tom didn't come today.
Tom, we can delete 4. Okay.
And add under items of note, jury trials at CRC, or we may be able to discuss that when Mark comes also.
Okay.
Either or.
Okay.
And does Joel have any updates on the architect?
No, I just reading in the minutes there that you guys, it was okay to send that in, so I'm hopefully it got sent in.
Well, I'm not exactly sure yet.
To sign the
Mark has the
contract.
original, I don't think. we've
Oh, he
signed it
does?
yet.
Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
I don't
well,
think we've...
Yeah, I'd make a motion to approve as amended.
Second?
We have a motion and a second to approve the amended agenda. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. County engineer is here with an update from Rich.
Speaking of jury trials, my ticket got pulled, so I'm on the hook for jury duty January, February, and March. So, just to let you guys know.
Oh, okay.
That was interesting. I got that in the mail. Guys are out blading or out rough cutting. Not a whole lot else we can do till it snows. So that's what we're doing on the maintenance side of things. I did.
Is there enough moisture to blade?
Well, the fog this weekend, that moisture and rain and stuff, that's gonna help keep some of that. So,
Keep her damp anyway.
I don't think everybody's out, but we got some stuff to pull back from the feathered side, so.
Yeah.
Some of
Well,
it.
just so 480 gets bladed up there.
Right.
East of Bankers there.
Yeah. And I did, I am working on that, draft of this newer post.
Oh, okay, okay.
So I've got some things I wanna revisit. The draft one that I have from another county, they have theirs just for unpaved roads. But I think maybe we could include something for paved roads as far as requiring a boring pipe and things like that, so.
Yeah, we should include them because I'm sure,
You know, I know we already have, you know,
Paved
my
roads.
McIntyre, we've got them
Yeah.
pushed through already, so. They also have an agreement that gets signed by the people that wanna do the crossings. So then the agreement explains who's responsible for what when something happens.
good.
Ours is gonna be a little different from theirs, cause they help pay for stuff, and I don't think we need to do that,
Right.
so. I see on the agenda was the discussion for the Cedar Watershed Authority agreement. Did you guys want to discuss any of that? I've got, all I got.
You should give Joel an update on what happened last week.
What happened last week, Joel, is I got a call from the Iowa Flood Group. And what they wanted to do, what they first called about was, first asked if we were in the watershed district. And I said that hasn't been decided yet. The first thing on their mind was to start putting up sensors. Now, this has nothing to do with us being in the watershed or not, it's their expense. There's a USGS sensor on the bridge west of Osage here. It's a USGS one that monitors elevations. Well, the Iowa Flood Group, they want to put some on ours. Since we talked on Tuesday last week, I think they got permission from Minnesota to put one on the state line bridge on the Cedar. Then they want to put one on our St. Ansgar Bridge. I emailed back and said that would be okay. It's just a small unit that sends a frequency down. It's all solar powered and it's all
Now, when you say the St. Ansgar Bridge, are you talking Hulverson Park?
Hulverson Park Bridge, I guess.
Because there's 3 of them right there.
Yeah, yeah, it's the Hulverson Park Bridge. And, so they won't need to put one over in Montreal. They've got, so. The other thing they asked about, they asked if we were in it because they want to start looking at some projects. And she hasn't contacted me from last week yet. She said she's gonna send me information. She sent me information on the units, but she said there's money available and they wanna look at doing projects such as ponding, buffer strips, things like that. But I don't know if that requires us to be in the watershed or not. But they wanna start within the next year, start planning things so that I suppose in 2 years they could actually do a project or at least be starting one. That's all the information I had from her, and that's all the information she sent me back last week. But,
Who has that agreement to watershed thing? Flood County attorney? Carl?
I explained to her that the reason we haven't joined up was because we had some issues with the verbiage in the agreement.
Well, I'd like to wait until Mark comes, because I had a conversation with him last week, and I don't wanna say anything out of school that put words in Mark's mouth.
Sure.
I mean, you know, but in any event, why,
And I did explain to her, I said, from what I understand, I said, I haven't read the agreement, all I've heard was what's happened at the board meetings, and it sounds like it's more of a, from what I'm understanding without reading it, the concern is some of the verbiage is more like a drainage district than a watershed sort of verbiage, and there's maybe a disagreement on how that reads, so I said, that's where they're hung up on whether or not to join up, so.
Well, I don't think whether or not we're in it or not holds up anything.
Well, no, but it depends on whether or not
They've got
they
a
try to do a pilot project. And they say, you know, that what they said is, they wanna do something as far upstream as they can. They can't go into Minnesota because they can't spend Iowa dollars in Minnesota. So I guess we're next in line as far as, but I don't know, and she couldn't answer the question whether or not we had to be in the watershed. I would assume that they're gonna spend money on this, that they'd probably like us to participate in the watershed.
Or would they be able to get funding without us? I think that's the question.
They have money already, it's a matter of,
They do.
will they spend the money in an area that isn't part of it, or will they go
Right.
further downstream?
But the soil and water are in it.
What's that?
The soil and water is already signed in it, they're in it, Mitchell County Soil and Water.
I don't know, I guess that's,
That's
You
not
just-
good enough?
I don't know, I didn't go beyond that, she just asked if they could hang some things on the bridge and, you know, that one little unit, and I said that's fine. And she asked if we were part of it, and then we kinda broke off, she informed me that there was gonna be money available for projects, and that's all the further we got. So, that's the update I have for you. The information she sent me was just a picture of the units, and it will be, when they get them put up, they wanna put them up this month. So it's just the one, but they'll be able to be accessed through the internet, and it'll be real-time data. So, we get a 4-inch rain, you can get on your computer at night, and it'll tell you how high it's rising and how fast. Theoretically.
You can. I was to one of those, and they're all over the state now, those, they're just right out here on the bridge. And
Yeah, Cedar.
it's for them
Bridge up
forecasts downstream, you know, is Cedar Rapids gonna get hammered in 6 hours, you know, and stuff like
Well,
that.
you know, we could use that data too.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
We know what the Cedar does, we know
Yeah,
when our
streams.
secondary roads start crossing over, we can prepare
It's pretty neat. It's out there now.
having that information. That's what I have for you. Do you have anything for me?
you've probably seen that forward of the email on the parking spot on number
Yep.
9, and there's a tire out there.
I'll go ahead and guys take some of that, whatever's coming out there.
Morning,
You
Mark.
know, the question, you know, you had sent that, I wondered, you know, it's too bad people throw crap around like that, and if you put something out there, then.
No, I wouldn't put a barrel out there. but
Okay, that's what I was wondering, I don't really think that's a good idea.
There was a refrigerator laying out over here by that, used to be a gas station over here by Paul Danville's.
Oh, really?
In the driveway, I don't know who laid that there. They fell off the truck, so.
Yeah, I should have fell off the truck. So, yeah, I'll send the guys out to get that, you know, it's nice that they went on and did that.
I just noticed some of the paint that, on the roadways
Oh, yeah, I
is
forgot.
not, I don't know, how long has it been on there? Doesn't seem like it's.
Depends on which one you're talking
All
about.
through New Haven.
That was
just
the
last year,
original
wasn't
paint.
it? Or 2 years now.
Yeah, well,
Last
it
year.
went through one winter,
Yeah.
and that was the stuff that we wanted them to water blast, or water blaster broke down, we accepted them to use the white brush.
Yeah.
Should have been 2 winners, because they put it on in 10, didn't they? I
10,
think that's what our map
11.
shows.
I'm trying to remember now, last year, did we
Right after
finish
the-
up?
Yeah.
You're right, it's 2 years. It might be, usually it's about a three, I
Okay.
think it's a 3-year cycle, depending on traffic.
It's not so bad. And I noticed the Orchard Road is, so steel wheels taking the paint off.
You know, in that area, and I'll just bring this up because I noticed it just driving my own private vehicle. Yeah, the paint there in that half-mile stretch is one. But those joints make a lot more noise now than the rest of the pavement does. If you really pay attention to driving, you'll hear it.
On Orchard Road, you mean?
Well, I'm talking about Primrose, but Orchard Road could be the same deal.
Yeah.
I mean, as far as the paint goes. I thought we were talking maybe Primrose, but.
Yeah, well, that too, I mean, it's all over.
But I'll go look, I'll remind myself when I get back to check on when that paint was done last. I can't remember if we finished those projects last year or the year before, everything kind of molds together, but
Yeah, time goes fast.
we evaluate it every spring to find out what needs to be done, so. Whether it's been down a year or 2 years, if it needs it, we'll put it down.
Well, I think the map is right behind us, just a little over there, it's showing, is it fiscal year or is it calendar year? I don't know if that was, yeah, it's 2012, fiscal year 12, so that would have been, that doesn't look right. Some of this isn't even updated because it still has 2002. This New Haven stuff, you got an old map yet or on the New Haven here? We've got updated one. No, I mean, that's the one for, when they laid the paving. Right, but the New Haven area still shows 2000,
The new,
still shows 94.
Oh, okay. You got an older map.
the new overlay.
Like I said, we've got to update our map for the DOT. We do have a standard appointment next week.
Yeah, I see Merlin's dad passed away.
Dean's taking over for the week, just so you guys know, in case something's going on.
Just discussing a little of the Upper Cedar Watershed Authority agreement, and about as long as,
Well, I went over last week and talked to Mark, and so one of the things I asked was if we had Carl take a look at all of the 28 Ds that Mitchell County is participating in, how many of those would Carl say was, we should sign? And you wanna give your,
I said probably 0. You know, there's some of them that create a separate entity, but most of them don't.
How does this differ from a 28 agreement between the county, say a city where we have a farm to market extension? Those are pretty simple, they
Yeah.
don't really,
It's an impossible question. I mean, the thing with this is there are so many different entities. There are so many different.
and then the other question I asked Mark is, what's the possibility of us having to ante up money when basically the agreement says there will be no anteing up money?
A law is a law, and the legislature can change it the next session. You know, the next session, they can say, you're in one, you're gonna ante up money. Whether that'll happen or not, I don't know. I kind of am of the same opinion as Joel, which is, it's probably not gonna be the county that's gonna get stuck anteing up the money if anybody does. It's gonna be the property owners, it's gonna be just like a drainage district. And they can probably do that if we're in the 2080 agreement or not, so I don't think that's gonna make any difference.
it's interesting, we went through Worth County yesterday, we had a drainage hearing. And we had Jim Hudson from over in Pocahontas County, the drainage attorney. And we're dealing with a district over there that was first created in 1906 and hasn't been reevaluated since then, nothing's ever been assessed. And there's,
Is Merlin Bart's involved in that?
no. It's a landowner that wanted some cleaning done, and since the inception of the district, they've always done it on their own. Each person would dig out their own and go beyond and try to ask the next guy if they do it. They've gotten resistance, but they found out that it's still a legal drainage district. And I don't know if it applies to the Cedar Watershed or not, but there's involuntary annexation and reclassification. And I don't know, like I said, I don't know how this works, because this doesn't seem to be, I don't know if it's the same or not,
Well,
but
nobody-
there's involuntary
yeah.
annexation where you can voluntarily get
Yeah.
in, or you can they can force you in it, and you have nothing to say about it.
Mhm.
You can file and say you don't like it,
Those-
but it goes to district court, and they're just gonna say, you've got benefit here. But it's different when you're creating a district versus you've got a natural stream, natural river. I don't know how those two differ in drainage law, but,
Well, I'm assuming they're gonna say, we've gone out, there's this many acres that drain into this, and if you're in this area, you're in.
here you're talking about a 2080 agreement, where in the
Yeah.
drainage district, you're not, there's nothing to sign, they just say,
Well,
you're
this
in
is
it.
basically a watershed versus a drainage district is what they're trying to,
Similarity is a drainage district,
But
still a
I'll go back to
watershed.
the language is exactly the same, whether they call it a watershed or a drainage district. Change the language, I'd be more comfortable.
In the law?
Yeah.
Well, they're not gonna do that.
Well, don't call it a watershed, call it a drainage district. It's exactly what they wanna call it. That's how it's gonna be.
Yeah, and whether you're in the 2080 or not, I don't think it makes a difference. If they say, this is the watershed and these people are gonna get assessed so much money, if you're in it or not, I don't think it matters. They can still do that.
that's why I'd still like to be a member of this thing, so that we have a little input on what's happening in this organization.
Is this the one that was brought to the city?
Yeah.
Yeah, and they still have not gone back and addressed any of the issues that Carl had, and I think they're valid issues. Why not make it a corporation? Why have it a joint venture?
Didn't New Hampton or somebody over there, Chickasaw,
Yeah.
not do it? Then they did.
Right.
Yeah,
I think Chickasaw's in,
Yeah.
yeah,
they're in like 2 or 3 of them, I think, aren't they?
yeah.
They're in the
Turkey Valley, I
Turkey
think.
Valley, that too. That's, that was one of the things, well, if we were to join this, well, then we'll change it when everybody gets signed up.
No, they'd have to change the law.
No, they'll change the wording in the 2080 after.
The changing the wording isn't gonna do anything. You'd have to start completely over. Because this one says we're not establishing a separate legal entity.
Right, but they need to.
If, they would have to do a whole new 2080 agreement.
Right.
Yeah. If they
Well, the
want-
landfill, that's a corporation, and we're members of that.
Mhm.
But if we were joint ventures, well, then we wouldn't have to have very large tipping fees, and we could just assess everybody for whenever we needed improvements.
I'm just answering
I
questions.
know, I
don't
don't
have
see a big problem here myself. I think it'd be a great, and it's a noble idea to help people during floods and what have you. But if somebody downstream decides they wanna put in a dike or a levee or something upstream, and now suddenly we wanna hold the water back, we're gonna back our water up on this guy's 80 acres here that he just planted the corn. Now, he's not gonna come and ask for some reparations because he's gonna get $10 per 10 bushel per acre less.
Mhm.
And who's going to provide those?
One thing she brought up when she talked to me was meeting private people to volunteer. If they were talking about a pond, would they ask a landowner if they could pond it on there? Obviously, there'd probably have to be some compensation, but I don't know how that whole process is supposed to work with them. I don't know what their plans are.
I don't think they have any, Rich.
They've done in southern Iowa, yes, a lot of them. And it was amazing how many farmers down there, of course, quality ground, I don't know, donated for ponds to help this watershed thing. It's been done down south.
And I'll just tell you the reason for that. What they do is they donate an easement, they retain ownership of the property, and you get what's called a conservation easement, and it's a relatively large tax deduction that you get to take. They're either taking it as a business expense or as a charitable contribution. But that's why, if people have some low-lying marginal ground, they'll say, gosh, I can get a pond out of it, I can get a huge tax write-off, and I get to retain ownership, and I get to hunt, and I get to fish on it.
I think they've done some of that here along the Cedar River for people to have access to get into the Cedar River with that
Well, Chris Schwark.
conservation easement.
Chris Schwark is working on one, I believe, up there on the Wapsie, over there by Riceville. And they say there's quite a bit of benefit to that. because county conservation's been working with them on. But I'd still like to join up on this thing. I don't think I think the
I think you
benefits
ought to go,
outweigh the.
Stan, they'll listen to you.
Pardon?
You should continue to go, they'll listen to you.
We have no input.
Wow,
Well,
you still can't get out of it. This is the fourth draft, this is only the last one I ever saw, and, you know, any member may withdraw from the authority by action of its governing board unless the authority then has unpaid debts or legal obligations. So you aren't getting out, and if they decide to do a $2 million project in the southern side of Floyd County.
I just brought
Did
you what I know.
I gave you Carl's letter, did you read it?
I didn't get it.
You did too, I forwarded it to you.
I didn't.
That was a long time ago.
No,
Oh.
just the
That
other
was-
day.
Oh, you gave it
An
an
email
email?
from me.
I haven't seen it.
No, no, the original one.
Oh, yeah.
He'd never seen it.
I don't recall getting an email from you. I'll look in my emails again, but I don't think I did. Don't remember seeing it, I'll look.
If you don't get it, you know, I'll give you a copy, but I don't know that, I think it's great, they're putting all those sensors and stuff on there, I don't have a problem with it.
No, that's Deb, that's.
I mean, it's, and then bring the project, and then we can look at them on a case-by-case basis.
Maybe that's offered.
Doesn't encumber the county that way. I can't help it.
I'm just telling you what I got informed of last week.
And as far as it,
we aren't gonna have any input on what possible projects there can be if we're sitting outside of the area.
Who's
oh, we're the
making
most
decision?
area, Stan,
Huh?
we're the most area.
Well, that's what I say, we should be part of this
We
thing.
could, it could be big,
We should be part of this thing.
it could be big.
They're talking
The
having the
bill,
state,
I'm
they're
talking.
talking having the state fund this whole thing.
Who's got the?
The state's gonna fund it?
That's what Senator Hogg is working on, state funding. We're missing the boat.
The only reason they're missing the boat is because they won't tackle that 2080.
Who's got it, Floyd County, or are they looking at it,
Who's
or?
ever in charge?
Okay.
They just-
The Floyd, that 2080,
Yeah,
it's been signed by about,
yeah, most people.
by most
Yeah,
most counties and cities.
we'll let them pay for everything. I,
So they'd have to go through the process of getting them, if you wanna change it, then they'd have to all sign again, or review it and okay it.
What happens when a huge rain is up north, comes out of Minnesota? They're out of it.
It's my understanding Minnesota's doing stuff on their own though, too.
Right.
Yeah, Minnesota's also working on, they got a,
And they've done a lot of stuff in Austin, I think, even to mitigate flooding in the Cedar River. I don't know, I haven't been involved. Just know what I hear.
and although funding can't go across the border, they're working together on a lot of this project.
Yeah.
If you don't have anything, I'm gonna hit the road.
Okay, last week I said the Pike Ridge, we'll see, contract with FEH is ready to be signed, did we have a motion to sign that yet?
well, if we need one, I'll make a motion to sign the
Okay.
FEH contract, but,
I
that was
had a
based, it was,
conversation.
I think we had approved that, because,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah, and he said it's ready to be signed, I talked to John Seymour, and
I'll put it down.
got clarified on the issues, and I think it's okay, so.
Yeah, second that.
We have a motion and a second to approve the chair signing the FEH architect contract, or roll call vote, Volklander,
aye.
Bach,
Aye.
Morel, aye, motion carried. So I'll stop over and sign that, Mark, if you, unless you brought it with you.
Which one is that now?
FEH architects contract. Do you want to talk to Mark about those jury trials, or?
Oh. Well, Well, while you're here, I got an email yesterday from Scott Hand, and they wanted to do jury trials or criminal trials at the CRC.
Which
And he
one?
did mention that he was gonna talk to you a
He-
little bit
he-
about
He
it.
did call me, yeah.
The
Okay,
event center or the,
well, what they would wanna do is rent the conference room, the green room, and to use the lobby. And originally, it was gonna be $540 a day. But he's negotiated the cost down to $200 a day, and then if they have a cancellation, it would be $50 for the cancellation, then that's all they'd have to pay for the day. And they normally have 10 criminal trials per year, Wednesday through Friday, and that would equate to a cost of 3 times $200 times 10 would be $6,000 a year, if we actually have the trials. But I understand that normally they have 1 jury trial per year in Mitchell County, and so that would be, it might cost us $1,950. And he wanted me to present this to the board because we have to approve it, if that's what they're willing to do that.
What's your opinion?
I haven't even gone out there and looked at it yet, because he called me about it and
Okay.
said, I was gonna talk to Aaron, and I haven't had a chance to do it yet. Could you forward me a copy of that
Yeah.
email? Because I'd like to at least go out there and see what they're talking about. Have you been out there to look
No,
at
but
it?
I know that him and Karen and Judge Drew and they.
Oh, so they thought it would work.
Right, they actually liked that, the best site, and then I tried to get them the
Yeah.
Sacred Heart Gym, but the church doesn't want to have anything to do with it.
Use the
Course.
theater.
Huh?
We'd use the movie theater.
a lot of seating.
Should we throw that on?
No. The only reason I said it is I went to a movie the other day down in Mason, and they got a church service in one of them.
Oh, good darn.
Well, they needed a larger area, and
You sell popcorn and.
Yeah.
it was, I guess,
No, if they think it'll work, that's fine.
okay, so then I'd make a motion that we go ahead and I'll get
Go to Link.
to,
Second?
that we have those trials there, hopefully we don't have them.
I have a motion and a second to approve, using the CRC for jury trials. Roll call vote, please.
Aye.
What? We're up. Aye. Anything else for Mark?
Yeah, when's Lincoln coming?
You've asked me that, and a lot of people have asked me that. It's hard to get Lincoln right now, because they're trying to keep it as a, excuse my language, but kind of an artsy movie, and, you know, we're only gonna have it at so many screens, so it's hard to get, so it's like,
Well, it went out nationwide.
well, it didn't though, they said limited nationwide.
When your best guess then? I don't necessarily want to have to travel.
It'd be January.
January.
It's great.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody I've,
Yeah.
Fuzz, we were just talking about it.
No. I'm looking forward to it. Other than that- Oh, and the other question I have, in this letter of Carl's on the watershed, are those valid arguments?
I'll give you two answers, okay? Legally, yes.
Okay,
Jerry Falkers always used to say, is it possible the moon's made of blue cheese? It's possible. Is it probable? No. And that's what Carlton's concerns are. In the event that the 1 in 100,000 event happens, Carl doesn't want you to be able to stand up and yell at Carl, Carl, why didn't you tell me this was possible? Now, I think if you ask Carl, you know, you've got these concerns, I know, are they possible or are they probable? And he'd say, they're possible but unlikely to occur.
well, I'll ask him that question Friday when I.
Okay. Mark, you say Mark Walk said possible but probably
Right.
unlikely.
Because,
It's possible, yeah. I mean, it's possible that you guys can get sued tomorrow by some kook for $10 million.
well, the only reason I say that is because when you start talking about water running over on the neighbors, or you doing something here that backs water up on my property, now wait a minute, I don't want that.
You can't back water up on people's property. in Iowa. Unless you've got an easement from them or their consent to do it, you can't do it.
But if you constrict the flow of water where it does start backing
You
up.
can't do it.
Well, all right, but that's what they're asking to do.
They're asked to do it, but I think they're
have to
gonna
have
get
permission.
easements, they're
Right.
gonna get,
No, what
I don't think they're just gonna block water up.
No,
Yeah.
No, what they're really looking for is they wanna do these studies, and it's gonna take them a couple of years to really try to figure out, not only where the water's coming from, I mean, you know, there might be a tributary, like the Turtle Creek has more water, or whatever, you know what I'm saying? But they also wanna find areas that, can we possibly get easements, like you say, that we could flood in this area? Or even like I've mentioned how many times, on T-26, what you have is a very small watershed, but you have, these box culverts when they, I don't know if the state built that road years ago, they're at least 4 foot wide and probably 6 foot tall, and, it's pasture up above. And we easily could put a restrictor in there to where like a 1 foot hole as opposed, and it would take maybe 2 days for that water to drain, no crops would be damaged. I mean, these are the things that they're trying to look for and then come up with some funding that would be state money coming in to actually implement it so that we can slow the water down. And that's what really that they're looking at. They're not looking to try to do a grand and glorious dam and that type of thing. But there's areas in the county that very well could turn into be good recreational areas that we would benefit from on a tourism thing and that's the part that I don't wanna be sitting on the sidelines having it go to Floyd County or that when it could've came to Mitchell County and people want. That's where I'm coming from.
That there used to be a lake at Brownville?
Used to be a dam over there.
Yeah. Anyway,
So,
yeah,
I'll talk to him Friday and see. If
Yeah.
It's like,
put it on again for next
It's
year.
kinda like, should you drive down there, Joe? It's possible you might get in an automobile accident and get killed, so you better not go. That's what your attorney would advise you. Stay in your house, don't touch anything
Lock all the
sharp.
doors,
you know.
don't run with
Is
scissors.
it probable you're gonna get in an accident? No.
thank you. I take the back, I take the
You better
back
drive
roads.
awful safe now.
I take the back roads.
Brenda, we have this discussion on the urban renewal plan for Farmers Feed and Grain Project. I assume that's why you're here?
No,
No,
I'm
you're
just
not?
appointed,
Okay.
I'm here for 2 reasons.
Okay.
Are we not talking about the VBC pretreatment agreement under the VBC update?
Um,
I didn't hear
It's
it.
not on the agenda.
Didn't I email you to put that on?
Well, see, last week, we were moving, my computer was unhooked, I was gone. I did not get it hooked up till about 11 o'clock yesterday, so there's no way to get it on the agenda.
Okay.
Okay,
We can put it up, we can put it under county attorney general discussions.
okay.
VBC itself is on the agenda, so
Right.
I mean,
Right, I mean.
yeah.
well,
So when
yeah.
I got the agenda.
We took it off because Tom wasn't gonna show up. but-
Well, and that's,
It's
I
still
looked at it,
there.
I'm like, wait a minute, so
It's
that's
still
where, okay, that's where I guess, when I looked at the agenda yesterday, I saw BBC, I thought we were fine, and that's,
We're fine.
I would look through that whole agreement from my perspective.
are we on the BBC agreement?
Right. All I see was that they'd like to add a little more flowery language to it.
Brenda, I have a question for you.
Yes, I'm hoping I can answer it, Attorney
You
Wall.
can, very easily. 10.5, right at the end.
Okay.
What's that line read on yours?
Maybe I can even handle that one this morning. 10 point, what?
Five.
What page?
Law governing, it's on page 11 unless.
Oh, okay. It just says law governing on mine.
Doesn't it say anything?
Oh, this agreement will be governed and constructed in accordance with the laws of the state.
Of what state? I
Illinois,
requested
Ohio.
that they add Iowa there,
Absolutely.
Okay,
but
That makes,
okay, I mean, can we add that in initial and then I'll have initials on the
yeah,
others?
we're,
Okay,
I mean, that was my only
Okay.
real request.
Okay. 10.5 statement at Iowa.
Bob, what's your middle initial? Okay. When I saw it was J.
Yeah, so change that when you sign it.
Oh, somebody, okay.
I
Oh,
think you're a
see.
James.
Well,
No, so,
that might be the Norwegian version of
yeah, that could
Yorgie
be.
or whatever they. Junior, yeah.
So basically, Mark is.
Basically, what this whole thing says, in one sentence, is you're responsible for the construction of the pre-treatment facility. That's what this whole thing says.
And we are.
And I think and they're gonna pay you back for it.
So you're okay to have a sign it?
If that's what you're agreeing to,
Well-
yes, that's fine.
I have one question, why couldn't we have done all of these in one agreement rather than 3 agreements? Because I'm sure some of this overlaps the development agreement.
No, I'm fine doing it this way.
Okay, well,
It's, okay, we wanna look at the pre-treatment agreement. We can just grab this. We don't have to grab a document that's that thick and then try and find it in
All
there.
right.
I'm fine doing it this way.
So move.
I'll second.
Need me for anything else?
I didn't know if you ought to stay for that discussion on that urban renewal thing for farmers feeding grain or not.
I can.
I don't know what that entails exactly. I haven't heard much about it.
Well, this is the first you'll hear about it.
But we have a motion to allow the chair to sign that. Is that your motion?
That was Stan made that, yeah.
Stan made the motion, okay.
Sure, that's what was in
That
the
was your
motion.
motion? Okay, roll call vote.
Aye.
Volklander.
Aye.
Morel, aye. Motion carried. Oh, I'm gonna sign something here.
Yeah, we will need to sign too. Do you want me to visit about this real fast?
Sure, go ahead.
This fall, Farmers Feeding Grain has been talking about plans to enhance their operations south of the community of St. Ansgar. And those plans have changed over the last few months, and until they really became more in focus, there was no need to really start the process, only to have to come in and try to change it. Originally, the project started as some enhancement to their tank facilities there, and have grown now to be additional tank enhancements, much larger tank, and now a building. And so, the project scope has changed a little bit, and so as we've moved through this process, the request has come up for TIF incentives to support the project. It borders the community of St. Ansgar. They very well could be annexed into the community and incentives provided there. But in talking with the Eastman family, their druthers would be to stay in the county with their operation. It's a substantial capital investment for the project, but when the day is done, I've been working with Amy, and she's been great to be real flexible as the project has changed. We believe when it's all said and done, the project will assess at about $500,000. And if the project were in the community of St. Ansgar, they have an ordinance that offers 10 years of TIF rebate, at basically everything that they can rebate back to the project. This will not require any additional infrastructure improvements to support the project by the county. It'll just create additional tax base for the county, and a couple of jobs as a result of that. So beyond what you're hearing now, this is all that's happened on this project. We've met with them, we've reacted to changes to the project, and Amy has assisted me in trying to get some handle of what the project will generate in terms of an assessment. To begin down the process, if you agree that you want to support the project with some TIF incentives, and again, you're not approving those today, you're just basically giving a nod of approval to start moving down the road to development of a of a development agreement, a much smaller one than we have with EDC. But also, more importantly, we've got to, if we're going to do this, we have to get the urban renewal plan adjusted to allow to support this project. Now, because the property sits along a county road, it's not a huge deal to amend, but as we all know, every time we amend, the urban renewal plan does trigger some meetings and notices and those sorts of things. So I've got a lot of objectives from being here to talk about this, is that if we're gonna amend the urban renewal plan, are there other things we should include in the amendment? Just because we're talking about this one project, if there's other things that you want amended and included, now would be the time to think about those things. Because that would be included as part of changes and amending our urban renewal plan. The Farmers Feed and Grain project is one of the things going on as a result of that amendment, but the amendment stands alone, and if there are things you would like to have added and other things in your mind, we should be thinking ahead and doing that now. So,
Well, this project, keep in mind, they have two sites south of St. Ansgar. One is on the west side of the road. If you're going south of the school on Train Lane, just before you turn across the railroad tracks, they have the property right there on the west side. If you cross the railroad tracks, continue past Red Ball Repair, then they have fertilizer tanks on the east side. This would be on the west side, before you cross the railroad tracks, is the properties that.
You wanna be on a rail line, cause there's no rail service in Riceville, kinda,
Yeah,
type of thing?
and this would put them on the rail.
Mhm. You don't wanna buy some other property in St. Ansgar, didn't they?
make a stop and ask.
I have a question. When we do these TIF amendments and stuff, who pays for all that?
County
Does the county?
To amend the plan, I wanna kind of understand, it has been the practice everywhere in the state that if you're incurring legal costs and costs associated with doing a development agreement are borne by the project. I mean, those are costs that come through and are deducted from any tax incentives. So that is how that works as it relates to it. Now, if we go through all of this and we're amending the urban renewal plan, and Farmers Feed and Grain is the only one we're amending for, I think probably a case could be built that says they
should.
need to pay that. But on the other hand, I would say if there is other projects, county related, that you want to do the plan for, you know, it wouldn't be right to have them pay for that. But again, this is all we're doing. I think I can look across from Farmers Feed and Grain and said, we didn't have any other reason to do this, we're doing it, you need to cover the cost of all that. But if you're thinking about other county projects and you want to amend that, then I think that's a discussion that you should have on whether or not you should pass through those costs on the project.
I realize this is really early in whatever, but last week, there was a fire, and Menace Woodworking, basically that building got destroyed. They are going to take the spec building?
No,
or-
I'd like to talk about that separately if I could.
Well, the reason
Yeah.
I wanted to ask about it is because, again, if that spec building is gonna be gone, this might be something, again, where we would wanna include a new lot somewhere or something to that effect. And that was my only. So, okay.
So a proposed timetable would be that my purpose today is to share just the proposal concept and would start to like to go down the road to getting a development agreement drafted, and more importantly, get feedback from all of you if there is land that you think should be included in an urban renewal plan, because then we'd add it in addition to the Farmers Feed and Game properties along the Red Wall. Then next week, and all, if you guys give the nod that this is what you'd like to do, next week you would need to adopt a resolution setting the date for the public hearings related to the urban renewal plan amendment and the development agreements. We do kind of tandem. Then about the first of the year, we publish public hearings for both meetings, and then we'll have the consultation meeting about that same time with the taxing bodies, which would include the, if we did only this project, St. Ansgar School, City of St. Ansgar, because we're so close. Then ultimately we'd have to have a planning and zoning meeting, and then the public meeting, if we follow along on this line, would be on or around the 1st of January, or yeah, January 15th, excuse me. And so that's kind of generally, but again, I think most importantly is if you have some ideas on additional land, additional projects, then we should do that.
So basically what you're saying is you want a time next week to have a public hearing?
We'll need to adopt a resolution
Adopt a
setting the
resolution.
date, and I'll have Kathy work on all of that, so. But again, if you have some ideas on property, I think that's, you know, that would be all part of trying to move through this process of amending the urban renewal plan.
Brenda, just for my reference, next week, all you'd be doing is adopting a resolution to amend the urban renewal
Yes.
plan. That would be it, no,
To set date for public hearings on the urban renewal plan amendment, so not any acting on the
just a
amendment.
resolution to set the hearing.
Yeah, that's exactly it. And today, the thing I'm doing is just to
Yeah.
say the project's in the works, you're not approving any benefits, the request has been made, and to start the process.
Brenda, could I get a copy just of that sometime?
Yeah, you can have them right here.
Oh, great,
It's got a
thank
few
you.
dates, and I was gonna have Kathy clean it up.
Great,
I didn't wanna talk to Mark Ross or anything until I visited with you, so. There are 3 copies of the industrial sewer agreement that require Bob's signature, and then Lowell as an attest.
You wanna do anything with this now, or?
The urban renewal?
Yeah.
We don't have to do anything with that right now, we
No,
just
we-
got it for next week.
Consensus of the board,
Yeah.
consensus
Yeah.
of the board
Let's
to
say
move
move
forward,
forward.
I
Okay.
think.
Okay, that's what I wanted.
Yes.
Thank you. Would you like me to visit Supervisor Morel about the Minutes project?
Off the left?
Minutes project.
Oh, that's fine. Yeah, go ahead.
You know, I would never have dreamed that in my time here, we'd have to deal with a couple fire crises, so, you know, surprisingly, I've got a little experience doing that, so, you know, obviously, when you experience a loss like Kelly and Rose have experienced, you know, trying to work through the insurance details, those sorts of things, there's been a lot going on. We are trying to work through the process to move Kelly and Rose into the spec building. There is a lot of details to work through on that project, just because it's a much larger building than they had. But really, the goal is if we can get them operational and the employees they have back to work, that's our motivation. So, we've met with his banker, Heartland Power, the St. Ansgar Economic Development Board, and I think we're all feeling like this could be a good match, but things change, and as the numbers start to come together, you know, it may not work either. So that's why I asked Jim, I said, well, we're working towards that. I mean, there's still something that could happen where we can't get that pulled together because insurance isn't finalized, and it is a much bigger building than they've operated off of in the past, but, you know, they don't have to rebuild where they were at, so it does give them the flexibility to seek alternatives. A lot of the initial discussion has been is how do we get them set up temporarily so that product can move out the door, at least in some limited capacity. And I think we've got some product being assembled today, and I think we're working on a second location. We need three-phase power, and so that creates some challenges to try to just put them anywhere, plus you've gotta make sure you can deal with the dust and those sorts of things. So, again, I am grateful. I mean, who would have ever known that, thank goodness we had a spot that could work and will hopefully allow them to enhance some of the things that they've wanted to do, and they've been constrained on the farm and had already started discussions with their bank about some things they could do to enhance their business. So I know they're grateful for the amount of support they receive from the county, and I can't go anywhere without somebody asking, is something happening, are we taking care of the menaces? And we're taking care of the menaces. And,
Great.
so stay posted.
Great, thank you, Brenda.
Mhm.
Okay, item number 5 is approval of the minutes from Tuesday, November 27th.
Done, Betty.
Joel wasn't there, so I'll make a motion to approve them.
Second?
Bobby made a motion.
I made a motion to approve the minutes from the 27th. And Stan seconded, Joel was not present, so he doesn't get to vote. Roll call vote, Morale, aye. Block.
Aye.
Motion carried. Item 7 is approve the construction evaluation resolution, and basically the matrix, right?
Yeah, so moved.
Second?
Something we do every year, right?
Yeah. Right.
That's what I thought, was like it anyway.
Yeah. A motion to second to approve that construction evaluation resolution. Roll call vote, Volklander.
Aye.
Walk.
Aye.
Morale, aye. Motion carried. Item 8, items of note, meetings attended. We didn't have any official meetings.
No, I didn't have any.
Okay. Manure management plan update.
I did have some meetings, but they don't pertain to here. Well, they do, in a way.
Landfill?
Landfill, we lost our engineer out there, so that'll be coming up in the next year, so.
Retired.
Retired. Had to go out.
We're fully staffed, that'd be a
Yeah.
good thing to mention.
Yeah, we're fully staffed, will be Monday.
Yeah, Monday.
Our next person comes on board on the 10th, 9th, we said. And we had that discussion whether we were fully staffed or not. We are, because I can look back and I see we only have 4 employees
Yeah,
in 2004, I believe it was, or 3.
Only had 4,
That was only,
and you got 4 now.
yep.
we got 4 now.
It's adequate. If somebody's missing for sick or vacation, 3 can cover, so we're in good shape.
Good. Any manure management plan updates?
Yeah, we have 2 of them. We have one from Teresa Shager in section 12 of Jenkins Township, and Merton Farm, section 12 of Stacyville Township.
Okay, so good.
No changes.
Okay. Alrighty. Anything else for the good of the cause?
So have you been in contact then with the architects at all, or?
No, they aren't gonna do anything until they get the signed contract.
Okay,
And that's about.
so later this week they'll have that, and then,
Right, then I'm sure they got a plan going forward, and probably nothing, you won't
That's
see
part of that.
a lot of anything
Brenda
until
had.
January.
okay.
Oh, I see, yeah, Balaam plan signs.
Yep.
But they spelled it out in their contract, what they were going to do.
Is this the design?
Study and design.
Did you put a group, did you put a group together to?
Well, Lowell, we kinda started a
Yeah.
list.
Well, and they'll also do a evaluation,
Yeah.
a complete evaluation
Right.
of the whole facility and
But-
get get an itemized list of every nook and cranny and
Okay, we'll work on that.
Is that something, that evaluation that will be put out to the public?
What,
Oh, sure, yeah,
Yeah.
you bet.
it's all,
everything we do is a public document.
Yeah.
It was the process that started before would start again, but wouldn't it, where you have the public meetings and those charrettes and that whole bit and
right,
having all that, so it's kind of picking up where you were before, it's not creating anything new in terms of the public, right?
right. Well, they're gonna do that study.
They're doing two things simultaneously,
Right.
but the one thing will pick back up like it was before. Because they've already done all their questions with all the staff already about
Right.
design, so that was continuing on with the design process, but then they're also going to look at the
Well-
evaluation process.
They haven't done anything the public has. to
Right,
design.
that stopped.
And that's what they
exactly.
want.
They want to
the
pick
public
back up with that,
Come in and
yeah,
bring your goals, and,
yeah,
you know, what does the county need?
yeah.
So basically feasibility study?
That too. They're gonna do it all. You know. Can't help people, I got a headache right here and it's just bugging me.
You do?
Yeah, I don't know why.
Well, it's just that you're not, it's not creating everything over again.
No,
Because
no.
they already came and talked to staff already, and we got ready to have those public meetings that got stopped, so it's kind of picking that back up again with those meetings, that was with the design part of it. So that's not anything like new, that's just, it just got put on hold, so.
Anything else?
Were you coming Thursday to Charleston?
No, I can't make it.
Oh,
I
okay.
can't make it Thursday, I got other commitment.
No problem, just to
Yeah.
have an idea of who's,
Yeah, I think you sent in just for two, right?
Two, yeah.
Yeah. So, you got everything?
I don't think anything more.
Okay, call it 9:30.
Okay.
Thank you, everybody.
oh, say, damn it, I did two.
Too late.
We have,
Stage fright.
well,
Too late.
yeah, no, we have appointments that we're gonna have to,
Oh.
Pete told me is already up. We should have reappointed him. And we're gonna have to go through the book here, so for next week, why don't we put down appointments?
Yeah, put that on for next week.
How did I forget that? It's that right in front of me.
Couldn't see the forest for the trees.
And, whoops,
You must have come in the
and the book.
That's
Oh,
a
you
Wednesday.
need this book, it's right there.
That's a Wednesday. The 11th.
We're at here. Oh, it should be the 10th then. I looked at the wrong.
You put him on?
I see you got St. Ansgar calendars ready for 2013, didn't you? When was, did they send a whole bunch of them, or?
A few.
Oh, hell, I'm looking at 13.
Yeah, that's why.
Okay, forget that. It's probably the 11th. I've been looking
Yeah,
at that
it is
calendar.
11th.
Next
Right,
Tuesday
yeah,
is the
that's
11th.
See the little
December at the
calendar?
bottom.
Oh.
Little one.
All
I
right.
put it, instead of having to change it right away,
Yeah,
I just
that's
took it up.
Well, you got me
there.
all screwed up now, Stan. I'm way ahead here.
You're a day ahead.
So,
I've been looking at.
Because, yeah, we'll need one of those calendars for,
So that's what
our,
we're gonna do.
if
I
you-
can't have it on
Nothing.
Thursday, I thought it was Wednesday.
I got
I have to go back
everything
home and look at
you
my
gave
schedule.
me, and, if he's coming, then I want Weary here, and I want,
Because you mentioned you talked to him.
yep.
Jim
And,
Hyde,
and,
I think you have Andy.
Andy,
Andy, you mentioned Andy's name.
Dennis Bannon,
does he wanna be on the,
and Jerry
you wanna
Dunn,
appear before the
Gary
board?
Snyder.
Gary, yeah, that'd be great. Let's get it all talked over.
There you go.
I'll let Gary know. Put it first on.
Yeah.
That's what I thought,
Like
the
a
county
meeting.
attorney's here.
Yeah,
Sounds good.
Listen to you. Okay, last 30 seconds.
you can sit in there and listen.
Well, I had about 15 minutes yesterday.
Oh, yeah, I had
Oh,
a
he
half hour the other day, and then
He said
crowd me
you
out back here,
stocks me in
Trucks.
hours.
and, huh?
said you guys were going to pick up some problems.
jumped out of his.